Hello, President Trump and other Americans. It's Jay Bortnick here from Alberta, Canada, and I'm here to say three things to you. I know we're having a trade dispute right now. The rest of Canada's having a trade dispute with you, and we here in Alberta are not really having a trade dispute. So I want to thank you right out of the gates. I want to thank you for buying all the oil for the last several decades, most of it anyway, that we've put out on the world market. And I also want to thank you for something that most Canadians and a lot of Albertans don't even know happened. Former Premier by the name of Ernest Manning, almost 100 years ago, was part of a cabinet before he became Premier, and he was tasked with the job of trying to find investment for oil he knew was already there. And he went first to Eastern Canada and was turned down flat. They said, no, we're not going to help you out. Then he went to the UK, our colonizer, United Kingdom, you know, where the king is, and they turned us down flat. But the Americans, you guys helped us out. And I wrote a blog about that about 5 years ago, and you can click on the link below. And we have a tradition here in Alberta of being very attuned to our American neighbors because of that. You buy most of our oil, you helped us start the oil industry, and that's why our Premier recently went down to meet with you. And I want to also thank you for meeting with our Premier. You didn't have to do that. She's not even a national leader. So thank you very much, President Trump, for meeting her. Now, on to the second point. We both know, actually everybody watching this to this point, already know that Canada is a joke. We're a pretend country. We just don't pull our weight militarily. We don't take you seriously when you talk about the border. We haven't taken you seriously for spending more on our military in the last 10 years, or even in the last 60 years. We had our last aircraft carrier in 1970. We mothballed that in 1970. That was before I was born. We used to have one of the biggest navies in the world. We should. We have over 200,000 kilometers of coastline on 3 oceans, yet we don't have any real navy to speak of. 4 submarines that are diesel, not nuclear. Really, give me a break. Canada's a pretend country that you cannot rely on, and I completely agree with you. If you can't be a real country, you might as well be a state in the United States of America. Point number 3. The rest of Canada, they're kind of moochers. They like their free healthcare. It's not really free. We all pay for it through our taxes, some more than others. For the last 60 years, while you were protecting my ass and everybody else's ass here in Canada through NORAD and NATO, other Canadians, while Albertans were bankrolling them to the tune of $660 billion. Lots of money. Lots of money. What did they do with that money? I can tell you what they didn't do. Then buy themselves a good navy or good border control, because they had you. They didn't diversify their economy in the east, in Eastern Canada. They didn't go searching for oil like we did here in Alberta. I don't know what they did with the money, quite frankly. They spent it on themselves. Didn't spend it here in Alberta. Didn't spend it on a military to support their biggest friend and ally. They're moochers. And it's only going to change when we get to an independent Alberta. You want us to become a U.S. state. That's great. We probably should become a U.S. state. But there's not a lot of Canadians who like Americans. The Canadians who do like Americans are usually from Alberta, because we realize where our bread is buttered. You guys buy our oil. What I propose is that you make decisions so that Alberta becomes able to declare independence. And I say this because if that doesn't happen, Canada's not going to change to your benefit, and Canada's not going to change to our benefit either. Of course, I want a pipeline to go to the East Coast, and another one to go to the West Coast, and maybe to the North Coast. But we're not going to get that until we're able to negotiate fully with the rest of Canada. We can't do that right now because the rest of Canada is arrogant enough to believe that they don't have to negotiate with Alberta because we're locked in, we're landlocked. For some reason they believe that. Even though 2 railways run through Alberta. We're a key piece of real estate here. When Alberta becomes independent, the dominoes will start to fall. And if they remain arrogant, you will have your wish. There will be US states added to the US. Now, if they don't remain arrogant, and they heed our advice, and they build pipelines, and they make some money around the world to pay for a decent military, then you will have strong allies. You will have an independent Alberta, and maybe 2 or 3 other independent countries north of you that will have strong militaries. And this works win-win for both Alberta and the rest of Canada, and of course for you guys down south. And in that way you don't have to accept us as US states, even though some of us may want to go and become U.S. states. I also want to remind you, a year ago, your good friend Tucker Carlson came up to Canada. And where did he go? Came to Alberta. Why did he come to Alberta? Because there are a lot of pro-Americans here. We didn't just turn him off out of hand because he's from America. If he had gone to Toronto, he might not have gotten a crowd, but he got two big crowds here in Calgary and Edmonton here in Alberta. We are all for a greater America. America first. It makes everybody stronger. It makes Alberta stronger. And if they realize it or not in the rest of Canada, it makes them stronger. To have a strong ally who's able to help us protect North America. Finally, you're not going to hear these things anywhere else because I'm not in the back pockets of the political parties or the mainstream media. No, I'm not. Never will be. That's why I need you to like, share, and subscribe. And I also want to thank you for your support. And God bless America, God bless Canada, and of course, God bless Alberta. Thank you very much.